Which bed liner material is the best? Now, 2 years ago, we tested spray-on bed liners, and they didn't really perform all that well. Today, we'll be testing 10 different brands of roll-on bed liners. Additionally, we're going to throw in some Flex Seal to see how it performs. In the first test, we'll see how the bed liners hold up when they're impacted by a steel ball traveling more than 200 miles per hour. We'll test the ability of these bed liners to avoid scrapes and scratches. We'll also find out which bed liner does the best job sticking to metal. We'll also see how they withstand an impact from a falling object. At $49.99 or just 40 cents per ounce, the least expensive product we'll be testing is sold at Harbor Freight and made by Iron Armor. Complete rust protection, durable impact-resistant acrylic coating, apply with roller or spray gun. Made in USA with global materials. Preparation for use. Using gloves, remove loose paint and rust with a wire brush or sandpaper. Once area is sanded completely, remove any sanding dust with a clean cloth. Most of the products tested can be applied directly to metal, while others call for a primer coat. To provide an apples-to-apples comparison, I applied Rust-Oleum Clean Metal Primer and allowed it to cure before applying the bed liner coatings. I cut out 10 small steel squares that we'll be using to measure several things such as cold temperature performance as well as impact resistance. They were cleaned with brake parts cleaner prior to being coated with primer. Metal washers will be used for chemical resistance testing. They were sanded, cleaned, and then primered. To measure the ability of these products to stick, products were applied to both the primered as well as clean metal cubes, then placed together and allowed to cure for 15 days. Roller application instructions. Shake can manually for 2 full minutes. 1 gallon covers approximately 80 to 100 square feet at 5 mils thickness. After shaking, pour enough product in a roller pan that will cover a small 2-foot section. Allow product to dry 1 to 2 hours before applying a second coat, making sure the coated surface is dry enough to re-enter the truck bed. Be careful during the application of the second coat to cover all thinly coated or missed areas. Allow coats to dry 2 to 3 days before using truck bed. The second least expensive product we'll be testing is made by Rust-Oleum and costs only $18.97 for a quart or 59 cents per ounce. Durable non-skid finish. Made in USA. Rust-Oleum truck bed coating is also ideal for application on previously prepped surfaces to create a textured protective coating on running boards, bed rails, and more. For maximum durability, apply 2 coats at the recommended coverage rate. The first coat will dry to touch in 2 to 4 hours. Apply the second coat once the first coat is dry to touch. Each quart covers approximately 35 to 40 square feet. At $79.95 for 1 gallon or just 62 cents per ounce, the third least expensive product we'll be testing is made by European Genuine Coatings. Manufactured in Europe using the latest resin technology, will give outstanding protection against mechanical damage, sunlight, water, corrosion, and chemicals. The kit includes 1 3-liter bed liner black. It also includes 1 1-liter 3-to-1 bed liner hardener. Stir bed liner thoroughly before pouring into a measuring cup. Add the hardener at a mixing ratio of 3 parts bed liner to 1 part hardener by volume. Mix components until smooth. Dry to touch in less than an hour. Thoroughly dry in less than 24 hours. The 4-liter kit will typically cover up to 130 square feet in 2 coats. We'll be testing both the water-based as well as the oil-based products for Dupli-Color. At $28.29 or just 88 cents per ounce is the Dupli-Color Oil-Based Truck Bed Coating, made in USA. Shake can manually for 2 minutes to liquefy contents. Truck bed coating can be used directly on properly prepared surface, no primer needed, applied directly to bare metal. 1 quart covers approximately 20 to 25 square feet at 5 mil thickness. At a price of $29.99 is this can of Flex Seal, which costs right at 94 cents per ounce. As seen on TV, liquid rubber in a can, excellent for cars, trucks, and vans. Made in USA. Coat entire surface until all cracks and holes are completely filled. Apply additional coats as needed to increase thickness and to fill larger holes. Allow each coat to dry completely before adding additional coats. Allow 24 to 48 hours or more to dry. Covers up to 37.5 square feet. At $69.99 or $1.09 per ounce is this 64-ounce Raptor bed liner kit. Protects against corrosion, salt, water, chemicals, and more. We're going to test that. The Raptor bed liner kit is manufactured in Stockertown, Pennsylvania. 2 bed liner rollers as well as a roller tray. Some rubber gloves. Some texture to add to the bed liner material. 2 cans of hardener. 2 sandpaper blocks. 2 cans of bed liner. Pour the entire contents of one of the hardener tins into one of the bed liner tin. Recap and shake well for 2 minutes. Pour some of the mixed products into the provided roller tray. When the first coat is dry to touch, about 45 to 60 minutes, apply the second coat. Touch to dry in less than an hour. Thorough dry 5 to 7 days. Flash time between coats 60 minutes. At $36.56 or $1.14 per ounce is this Dupli-Color Bed Armor. Now this is a water-based product. Impact resistant, coating won't flake, chip, or peel. Made in the USA with global materials. Let the first coat dry for at least 1 hour or more before stepping back into the truck for the second coat. Apply a second heavier coat. A bed armor protected truck bed will be ready for light duty use in 24 hours and heavy duty use in 48 hours. 1 quart of Dupli-Color Bed Armor will cover 16 to 18 square feet. At a price of $37.23 or $1.16 per ounce is this Herculiner. Skid resistant, won't chip, flake, or peel. Made in South Africa. Start with a light first coat, being careful not to let Herculiner clump or run. Occasionally stir Herculiner to keep it from clumping. After the first coat, allow Herculiner to dry for approximately 1 to 2 hours or when it is no longer tacky. Then repeat application for the second coat. At $38.88 or $1.21 per ounce is this POR-OEM bed liner. POR is made in New York. Easy soap and water cleanup. Prevents chips and scratches. Permanently flexible. Dry to touch in 1 to 2 hours. To handle, 24 hours. To recoat, 3 to 4 hours. The most expensive product we'll be testing at $45.95 or $1.44 per ounce is this Durabak 18 polyurethane protective coating. Resistant to abrasion, chemicals, heat, fresh and salt water, UV, and corrosion. We're going to test that. Durabak is made in USA. Roller application. To avoid mud cracking or pooling, do not lay coats on too thick. Second coat may be applied after first coat is dry to touch, but not longer than 24 hours. All of the products received a second coat in accordance with manufacturer's instructions, which varied from under 1 hour to waiting 24 hours for a second coat for Flex Seal. To make sure all the products are fully cured, I waited over 2 weeks to begin the testing, and during the second week of curing, all these products were in a fully enclosed cargo trailer that reached temperatures of well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so each one of these products should be very well cured. To serve as our baseline in the first test, I'll be using a test piece that's been primered and then painted with 2 cans of base and 3 coats of clear. The test pieces have been in a freezer overnight, and the freezer is set at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Many of these products claim to work well in areas subject to rock chips such as the inner fenders. So in the high caliber impact test, we'll see how well the bed liners hold up when they're impacted with a .177 caliber steel ball. The size of the damaged area of the spray-canted metal was 6.5 millimeters. The size of the damaged area with the Harbor Freight iron armor was 9.09 millimeters. Rust-Oleum performed a little bit better than iron armor with a damaged area nearly a millimeter smaller at 8.15 millimeters. EGC did the best yet at 6.16 millimeters. The oil-based Dupli-Color really struggled at 13.61 millimeters. The soft and rubbery characteristics of Flex Seal really helped it quite a bit in the colder temperature with only 2.16 millimeters of damaged area. The Raptor performed fairly well at 5.12 millimeters. The water-based Dupli-Color had a damaged area of 5.54 millimeters. Herculiner did the best yet. The steel ball did not fully penetrate the bed liner material. POR-15 had a damaged area of 9.74 millimeters. Durabak did very well at only 1.34 millimeters of damaged area. So Herculiner did the best, Durabak second, and Flex Seal third. Up next, we'll test the impact resistance of bed liners at approximately 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The amount of damage to the painted steel plate was a little bit less at ambient temperature at 4.58 millimeters. The amount of damage to the Harbor Freight iron armor was slightly more than at sub-freezing temperatures at 9.42 millimeters. The warmer temperature really helped Rust-Oleum quite a bit with the damaged area at only 6.35 millimeters. The warmer temperature also really seemed to help EGC, and the steel ball did not appear to fully penetrate the bed liner. The oil-based Dupli-Color also improved quite a bit with a 2.16 millimeter area of damage. Flex Seal did slightly worse, but still did really well at 3.23 millimeters. Raptor did quite a bit better at ambient temperature as well, with 3.2 millimeters of damage. The water-based Dupli-Color also improved slightly at 3.21 millimeters. The warmer temperature seems to have allowed Herculiner to soften just enough for the steel ball to penetrate the bed liner material. The warmer temperature helped POR-15 quite a bit with only 1.5 millimeters of damage. Durabak improved with the warmer temperature, and the steel ball did not appear to penetrate the bed liner material. At ambient temperature, Durabak and ECG tied for first, Herculiner third, POR-15 came in fourth, and the oil-based Dupli-Color came in fifth. A high-quality paint finish typically survives exposure to gasoline, diesel, or rubbing alcohol without any damage. So let's test each of the bed liners to see if they are just as durable. We'll allow each of the washers which have been coated in bed liner material to soak right at 90 minutes. We'll come back to this later in the video. In the next test, we'll see which products stick to primered as well as bare metal, beginning with Harbor Freight Iron Armor. Without primer, the Iron Armor just didn't bond well at only 47 pounds of tensile strength. The second sample was primered before the Iron Armor was applied, and it did much better at 281 pounds. The unprimered Rust-Oleum sample did about the same as Iron Armor at 48 pounds. The primered panel didn't do nearly as well as Iron Armor at only 89 pounds. Without primer, the EGC let go at only 34 pounds. With primer, EGC did a little bit better at 56 pounds, but not as good as Iron Armor and Rust-Oleum. The manufacturer of the oil-based Dupli-Color says that no primer is needed, and that proved to be true with 358 pounds on the unprimered steel cubes. The primered metal still did great, but not quite as well at 256 pounds. Flex Seal did the best yet at 366 pounds on the bare metal. It did even better at 491 pounds on the primered metal. Raptor let go at only 48 pounds on the bare metal. Raptor did a terrific job at 425 pounds on the primered metal. The water-based Dupli-Color let go at 72 pounds on the unprimered metal. It really struggled at 42 pounds on the metal that had primer. Herculiner did the best yet at 433 pounds on bare metal. It also did the best yet on the primered metal at 612 pounds. Very impressive. POR-15 let go at 41 pounds on the unprimered metal. The primer helped a lot at 157 pounds on the second sample. Durabak did by far the best yet at 595 pounds on the first sample. The primer helped Durabak perform even better at 641 pounds. Very impressive. A bedliner just won't do much good if it doesn't bond well to your vehicle. A poor bonding product is more likely to flake away around damaged areas compared to a bedliner with strong bond characteristics. Durabak did by far the best, Herculiner second, Flex Seal third, Raptor fourth, and Iron Armor fifth. It's been right at 90 minutes since the bedliners were exposed to rubbing alcohol, non-ethanol gasoline, and diesel. First, let's see how each brand performed when exposed to rubbing alcohol. And the rubbing alcohol caused the Iron Armor to break down and come loose. The rubbing alcohol didn't seem to cause any damage to Rust-Oleum. EGC also tolerated rubbing alcohol very well with no visible damage. The oil-based Dupli-Color performed about the same as Iron Armor, with the rubbing alcohol causing the bedliner material to peel. Flex Seal quickly peeled away after exposure to rubbing alcohol. The water-based Dupli-Color also peeled away after exposure to alcohol. The Herculiner is still sticking to the metal, but it's beginning to break down. The POR-15 is sticking but is beginning to break down. Just like POR-15 and Herculiner, Durabak is beginning to break down. Iron Armor definitely did not hold up well after exposure to gasoline. Rust-Oleum seemed to hold up just fine after exposure to gasoline. Just like Rust-Oleum, EGC also held up just fine. Just like Iron Armor, the oil-based Dupli-Color also began breaking down. Flex Seal is peeling away after exposure to gasoline. The gasoline did not cause any damage to the Raptor bedliner. The water-based Dupli-Color actually tolerated the gasoline just fine. The gasoline didn't cause any visible damage to the Herculiner. The POR-15 and primer coating both peeled away. The gasoline didn't seem to cause any problem for the Durabak coating. Diesel caused the Iron Armor to break down. Rust-Oleum held up well after soaking in diesel. EGC also held up very well. Once again, just like Iron Armor, the oil-based Dupli-Color also began breaking down. Flex Seal seemed just fine after soaking in diesel. The Raptor bedliner also held up very well. Water-based Dupli-Color did just fine after soaking in diesel. Herculiner held up very well. No issues for POR-15 after soaking in the diesel. Durabak did just fine after soaking in diesel. Nail-embedded wood or sharp objects in general can cause a lot of damage to paint, which is one of the reasons why bedliners are typically installed. So up next, I'll drag a screw-embedded piece of wood across each one of the bedliners to see how they hold up. There's just over 2 pounds of downward force on the screw. Testing Harbor Freight's Iron Armor first. The screw left a fairly deep scratch in the Iron Armor, but the screw wasn't able to cut all the way through the bedliner coating. The screw left a scratch in Rust-Oleum, but the scratch wasn't as deep. EGC did by far the best yet. I had to use a microscope to even find the scratch. The damage to the oil-based Dupli-Color seems to be about the same as Iron Armor with a fairly deep scratch. Flex Seal is a very soft and rubbery coating, and the screw just cut right through the Flex Seal. The Raptor seemed to do just about as well as EGC with a very minor scratch that's even hard to see under the microscope. The screw cut all the way through the water-based Dupli-Color, which seems to have done about the same as Flex Seal. The Herculiner did about the same as the Raptor with very minor scratches visible under the microscope. Just like Herculiner, POR-15 did a great job with very minor damage visible under the microscope. Durabak did a great job just like Herculiner with very minor visible damage. To help simplify the results, I've categorized performance into 4 categories, with Category 1 being the best and Category 4 being the worst. EGC did the best as a Category 1 product, but Rust-Oleum, Raptor, Herculiner, POR-15, and Durabak did nearly as well as Category 2 products. A high-quality bedliner not only resists chipping, but also avoids excessive material loss under and around areas experiencing impact. In the next test, a 500-gram steel rod will be dropped 24 inches onto each one of the bedliners, and we'll see how much material loss takes place. The Harbor Freight iron armor experienced quite a bit of damage. After gently removing the bedliner material from the area of impact, the diameter of the damaged area was 5.91 millimeters. Rust-Oleum actually did a little bit better than iron armor at 5.35 millimeters. EGC did quite a bit better than both iron armor and Rust-Oleum. The damaged area was only 2.4 millimeters. The oil-based Dupli-Color experienced the most damage yet at 7.92 millimeters. Flex Seal, which has very good adhesive properties, only had 2.79 millimeters of damage. The Raptor experienced slightly more damage than Flex Seal at 3.94 millimeters. The size of the damaged area with the water-based Dupli-Color was 3.1 millimeters. The Herculiner did by far the best yet. The steel rod left a mark but did not fully penetrate the bedliner material. The size of the damaged area with POR-15 was 6.18 millimeters. The steel rod left a very small mark but did not appear to penetrate the Durabak bedliner. So Herculiner and Durabak tied for first, EGC third, Flex Seal fourth, and the water-based Dupli-Color fifth. So which brand won this showdown? In my opinion, Durabak definitely won the showdown, but it is a very expensive product. For the money, EGC is going to be very hard to beat. I also liked Herculiner quite a bit, and if the price was right, I would definitely use Raptor. All the videos on this channel are viewer suggested, so if you have a video idea, I hope you'll take time to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching, please take care, and I look forward to next time.